It is gorgeous in Lake Tahoe. It's the same weather every single day.
It's really amazing.
I haven't seen a cloud in 4 days. It's unbelievable.
That's why we're all getting burnt to a crisp, too.
It's amazing. Last night we had an odd discussion about who is baseball, and we will get to that discussion in just a second. But Mike has been promising a list of the top 5 people that he has urinated next to because he urinated this week here. Right next to Ray Allen. So
the way that you say that
this
is
week
very unsettling.
Well, I mean, that's what you did. You went to the bathroom next to Ray Allen. Are you looking for?
I was looking for it, but I can go off top dome.
Okay.
Yeah, I went in the notes app, but yeah, I've done this on the air before, but now it needs updating because I've peed to some famous folks since then. So OLI, this is actually the only 2-time offender on my list.
Ooh. Right.
I've peed next to him at Ric Flair's 70th birthday. And I peed next to him at a Panther playoff game.
Twice?
Shane McMahon.
Wow.
Yeah, Shane McMahon.
You really thought about this. Put pen to paper, huh?
How long have you been working on that line?
He's been thinking of it ever since he brought it up, for sure.
It's a bad line.
Pen to paper. You get it?
It's a bad line. OLI, Pat McAfee.
Oh, nice.
Lake Tahoe last year.
Good.
Yeah.
Another opportunity sometime this week.
We're gonna be peeing next to some famous folks. You guys are gonna have your
That's
own.
why I
top
said
5.
my top 5's being made this week.
Yeah.
I just won't know who they are. Go ahead.
Well,
I believe this is another OLI before I get into my proper top 5. The entire, half of Ole Miss's national championship baseball team in full uniform.
Wait, time out.
I like that.
But they were all peeing at once?
Yeah, in full uniform.
Where was this?
So it was at Marklight Stadium during the regional. Miami lost to the eventual champion, Ole Miss, which was a great underdog story. But visitors don't have their own bathroom. They have to go in the same bathroom as everybody else. And another regional was going on, and they were just hydrating, and they all had to pee, and we wished them luck, and they had a lot of luck.
How about A-Rod give a little more money to get the road players a bathroom?
How about A-Rod give a little bit more money, period?
Can't spell Mississippi without the PP.
Oh, man, Stu's on one
See what
today.
I did there? Oh, go ahead, pen to paper.
Number 5, Eric Bischoff.
What?
Yeah,
Who?
Eric Bischoff, former head of WCW.
What?
Yeah, I peed next to him at the Hard Rock Guitar down in Hollywood.
Come on.
Yeah.
Outside.
No, there was a bathroom. Like, he had a speaking engagement.
Okay.
It was like a Hulk Hogan Ric Flair tour. I was there supporting Rick.
Okay.
And Rick was washing his hands, and he introduced me to Eric Bischoff, and he was taking a leak, and it was just an awkward, your classic awkward urinal banter.
Right.
So yeah, he's number 5.
Okay.
Because that one was really awkward for me. I don't necessarily like to talk to folks.
Right.
But there was one
In general, not just
Yeah,
when
just
you
in
go to the
general.
bathroom, Right.
But
You
there
don't
was
like to
one
talk to
great
anybody.
conversation that I had at a urinal, and that person's at number 3. But number 4, Paul Pierce, Bellagio.
Wow.
Right.
You remember when the Celtics won their one lone championship that they won while I was alive? And,
With the big three.
and
The
Paul
one.
Pierce celebrated it like
Yeah.
it was like a 6-speed.
Yeah.
And he just did not stop partying since then. He's actually still on his
Correct.
championship parade,
Yes.
even though when you look at it on the surface, pretty disappointing run from their big 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
They should have.
Oh, yeah.
They should have done some more winning.
Yes.
Paul Pierce was playing poker at the Bellagio, and the poker room is adjacent to the sports book, and we were both peeing together.
All right.
Yeah.
Peeing together.
Simultaneously. Yeah, it was actually like synchronicity. Like we both hit
Any
the
urinal
flusher.
banter?
No.
Yanter?
No. But he was talking to other folks. But
What are you saying? Like you started at the same time? It was.
Yeah,
just, Right.
yeah. Bladders were synced.
Did he feel it too? Like
Yeah, bladders were synced. So that was number 4.
Right.
Number 3, I'm going to go with the greatest conversation I've ever had at a urinal. It was at Dania Highlight
Of course.
with Zach Thomas,
Wow.
who loved her show.
Can't think of a better place.
And we were both just throwing our head back and laughing at the urinal. Just 2 guys being dudes at the urinal, peens in hand,
Yeah.
bonding over our show.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming out to that poker event,
What
Zach
was?
Thomas.
Why?
We didn't even invite him. He just showed up.
We have some weird people show up to weird events.
You
Terrell
just
Owens
showed up.
watched the movie with us.
Yeah, I didn't pee to him.
T.O. was
next to
there?
him.
Yeah.
Didn't pee next to him or Kimbo Slice. Those
Right.
would have been good ones.
Do you remember the conversation you were having with Paul Pierce? Like,
I didn't have a conversation with
I mean,
Paul
I'm
Pierce.
sorry.
Yeah, with Zach Thomas?
With Zach
Yeah,
Thomas,
it was
yeah.
all about our show. I'm a huge Zach Thomas fan, but it was actually pretty cool. He was, out of the 2 of us, he was more impressed with what I had done, which is stupid.
that's odd.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Number 2.
Mike, you're talking about.
Yeah, Mike,
My
of
number
course.
2, number 1. that I've ever had. You saw what I did there?
And number 2, number 1.
Yeah.
I like
my
it.
number 2, number 1
jokes.
is Ray
Pokes.
Allen, Game 6 forever. I thought about it.
And that just made the
I
list.
thought about saying Game
This
6
is
forever.
fresh. I mean,
So what had gone through my mind was I walked through the restaurant in the clubhouse.
Give me each stage of this.
And he was watching NBA TV on one of the TVs.
Okay.
And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I just went up to our friend Dolores, alias,
Right.
or our friend Dolores at the bar, and I took care of Ray Allen's bill. And so that thought was going through my head, and I was going to
for what
do
he's
that.
done for you.
And write
Yeah,
Game
for
6 on the
Game
check.
6, Yeah,
for
I was
the
saying,
shot.
Yeah.
Thanks for
I
Game
was gonna
6.
tell Dolores, that guy over there, anything he wants, put it on my bill. You know who I am. I'm here all the time drinking Bloody Marys. Just say, courtesy of Mike from Miami, Game 6 forever.
Right.
And that thought was actually going through my head as I was walking to the bathroom. And then Ray Allen kind of blew up my spot, what I was marinating on, because he just plopped up right next to
Urinating
me.
on it.
Yeah, he peed all over my
Well
plan.
done.
At that point, that kind of seems weird. Like I'm basically following him out of the bathroom. I'm like,
And then paying for his drinks.
That
You're a
pee-pee that I had
stalker.
was so
Yeah.
memorable. I'm going to pay
Right.
for that guy's meal. Like at that point, I was like, no,
You've done enough.
I've done enough.
Right.
And number 1, I'm a huge music fan. Contemporary rock star Alex Turner. Peed next to him.
That's incredibly cool.
At the Underground in Chicago. And this was when he was doing his Elvis, every bit the rock star. But Alex Turner from Arctic Monkeys. I love that band. That's
I don't
my
think
number
there's
1.
anybody alive right now who thinks they're a rock star more than Alex Turner. Who exudes, I know I'm a rock star and I think I'm a rock star.
Lil Uzi Vert.
Also fair.
Yeah, Lil
Also
Uzi
fair.
Vert is an absolute rock star.
Good nomination.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
might have to put a top 5 together.
Yeah.
Not as many rock stars these days, though.
Well, that's
is
what I'm
there?
saying.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying.
Lil
Alex
Uzi,
Turner's one of those guys who
Right.
he's a rock star and he knows it, and he'll be weird
Sultry.
and
Sexy.
yeah, and just try to kind of avoid being legitimate with anybody.
Who
and
is
just
the
sort of
biggest
keep his
rock star,
distance.
For me, it's guys like Dave Grohl, Jack White, active.
Still.
Yeah,
Right,
because Mick Jagger's living, but I'm not going to put him in this class because
Right.
he's not a contemporary.
There's an argument I would have made after album 1, but then he turned into a pop star, was Harry Styles, because he was going for
Yeah.
the I'm a rock star thing,
Yeah.
the 70s vibes, doing the whole thing. But he's such a superstar in the pop sense that I don't know that he qualifies on this
John
list.
Mayer's
Swift
not
has an
considered
argument.
rock, is he?
John Mayer could
I mean,
potentially
he plays
be a
with the
rock
Dead, but
star.
He's got his solo act.
No, John Mayer's a
Yeah,
rock star.
his solo act would be considered rock, if anything.
John Mayer's a rock star.
Okay.
Yeah,
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 but we're
that
not.
makes sense. Might make the top 5. We're gonna have to think about
Probably
this
would
for
have,
sure.
though. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not a lot of guys left doing the thing.
So
Ooh,
last
you know
time-
what? Her.
So we went to Cafe Fiore, a great Billy Rappaport.
Hooked it up.
I'm not
Billy
sure
Rapp.
if you guys know this name drop, but this guy's the mayor of Lake Tahoe.
He's
As I found
Billy
out.
I didn't
Rappaport
know
is the
this.
mayor.
Yeah.
Wherever Billy Rappaport goes, he becomes the mayor.
I didn't know
Okay?
his name drop as you
No.
guys were
He's a
dropping
plug.
it at the time.
He's
He's
a plug.
incredible.
And so, I was lamenting the fact that there aren't many great restaurant options. We like our Lucky Beaver, we like Hell's Kitchen, but that's about it. We go to the same haunts. And he overheard this. He's like, you got to go to Cafe Fiore. Tell him Billy Rappaport sent you. You have to say hello to Nick, and you have to have the white chocolate ice cream.
Yep.
And he wasn't kidding. We had a great meal. But over this great meal, great hang with friends, we wanted to put together a list because Immaculate Grid is taking over all of our lives. People that are baseball. And there's a lot
just
of baseball
our
players,
baseball.
We
so we're gonna
spent
have
the
them weigh in.
entire dinner playing the Immaculate
Yeah,
Grid.
because what I threw out there was nobody was more baseball than Craig Biggio.
Yep, that's where it started.
Right.
That's where it started.
Craig Biggio is baseball.
Yes. To which, Mike said that, to which I said, well, who is baseball? Is it
Right.
Biggio or is it someone else?
What's great
Everybody's playing for second.
that
Right.
I know.
I mean, Biggio has the helmets. I mean,
You have to have that helmet. Wherever Craig Biggio is right now, I guarantee you he looks like he needs a bath. And he's got eye black running down his
he's just
cheeks.
sliding in the dirt
And-
somewhere.
And just right now he got hit by a pitch. And he's taking off his elbow pad, slow trotting to first. That's what Craig Biggio is doing right now.
What's so great about how into this conversation that we got, and I don't even know if you guys know this, but there was a group that was brought into the restaurant and sat in the same small room as us because this restaurant was sort of small. That was sort of the charm of it. They were sat in the same small room as us, and as soon as we started getting into this conversation, they asked the waiters to be moved to another spot. So in the middle of all of us having this conversation, there was a family that got up and left the room because we were so into it that we were screaming at
They
each
were
other.
also there
Mike
courtesy of Billy
Mordecai!
Rappaport, though.
No, that was a different group.
Wait,
That was a different
was
group.
that-
They enjoyed it. They
Well,
enjoyed
I don't
it.
want to put this. Well, we ran randomly had dinner with Derek Lowe the last
It
two
was
nights.
not Derek Lowe and his
And,
family.
like,
But we
'cause-
have
'cause
randomly
if
ended up with
Lowe
Derek
was put
Lowe.
off by the conversation. Oh, they're talking about baseball. They're
No,
gonna
no,
mention
no.
me.
It was some
Like,
random family
but
for sure.
How is that for a random trip? Like top 5 people we've had dinner next to.
Top 5 people you've had dinner
That's
next
how-
to twice.
By the way, that's how few restaurants worth a darn.
Right.
There are in Lake Tahoe. We've gone to like 2 of the top 3 ones and sat next to Derek Lowe both nights.
So do you guys want some of the names here that we've added to
For
the list
baseball.
for who is
Gotta have.
baseball?
Who
so
is baseball?
this is what we've done so far. We'll probably compile some more as we go along and think of them. But on this list right now, we have, starting with Craig Biggio, Jim Edmonds,
oh, baseball.
Edmonds.
Lenny Dykstra,
Oh, nails.
John Kruk,
Crucky.
Pete Rose,
Oh, Charlie.
Derek
Russell.
Jeter,
The
Jeets.
captain.
Jason Varitek,
Tech.
Moises Alou,
I don't know his nickname.
Can Kemenity,
Oh,
Brian
R.I.P.
McCann, Dustin Pedroia,
Brian McCann.
Kevin Brown,
Pedroia.
Jackie Robinson.
Wow, Kevin Brown looks like your friend's dad that you're scared of.
Yeah.
That's exactly
People
it.
were scared of
Yeah,
Kevin Brown
him
inside
and
the
Rob
Marlins
Mann
organization.
look like
I'm
the
serious.
dad that you just never talk to.
Just see him on the
Like,
lawnmower in the
yeah,
front yard and
everyone just
a
quiets
knowing
down.
head nod.
Yeah.
And they walk into the room to go
Pedroia's
grab a beer.
got
You
some-
don't want to say anything.
Pedroia's got some Biggio qualities, right?
He does.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the same.
Like,
It's,
the
it's,
fact
it's
that his
Biggio
face is
2.0.
perpetually dirty.
Yeah, he's constantly dirty.
Yeah.
Always
He's
sliding
always a
into
little
dirt.
bit hurt.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
Alou has going for him is like no batting gloves.
Right.
So that also.
Biggio's
We
taking
still
a big
have more
lead
names on this
somewhere.
list that we'll get to.
Yeah,
We'll get to them.
We're
We'll get
gonna
to
have
them.
plenty of baseball guests here for the remainder of the week, and we're gonna have them fill in because David Wells was also one of those people that we talked to. So I
Yeah,
want
he's on this
I
list.
want to have him be the arbiter of this list, but also a side list spun off of that one. And it was like top 5 chaw dogs in
Yep.
baseball history, chaw dogs / mouthwads. And Jason Worth comes to mind, and I want Jason Worth to be the arbiter of mouthwads in all of baseball.
Okay.
So that'll be coming your way. Lots to look forward to, ladies and gents.
It's July.
Here
And Tahoe.
from the American Century Championship that you can check out on Peacock and NBC all throughout the weekend. We're so glad that Dollar Shave Club is funding this trip. Thank you, Dollar Shave Club. Epic razors, epically affordable. Find them online or in stores. We got to get the entire crew out here next year
Yes.
because the fact that we had to celebrate you mistaking Jake Owen for Aaron Rodgers is something that I wanted to celebrate with everyone.
And they missed out on 2 dinners with Derek Lowe.
Welcome back to our coverage from Tahoe, presented by Dollar Shave Club. Epic razors, epically affordable, in stores or online. We're joined now by a guy that was, and I'm not just blowing smoke here, David. You were legitimately, and we got the best feedback on it. You were our favorite interview from last year. Thank you for being so kind.
Oh, geez.
And congratulations to you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Put it on the trophy
It's a
stand.
high honor.
Hey,
Yeah. Well,
consolation prize. nice cold water. I,
I
love
mean, you're
it.
making yourself. Oh, we gave you a nice, comfy
Yeah.
spot.
Oh, I know.
An
I'm
inflatable couch and a water.
sunken in. I'm not moving.
We've got a couple of fun games that we want you to weigh in on. But before we do, last we spoke to you, you said you hadn't watched baseball for years, that the game just wasn't that fun to watch for you. Now, they've made some changes to the game.
Yeah.
There's pitch clock. The shift has been removed to a degree. Have they done anything to bring you back, or are you still not watching baseball?
No, I watched a game a couple weeks ago in San Diego, and then a few weeks before that, I was in New York. I saw maybe 2 innings at the game there.
So no.
Long, huh?
Well, you know what? I was occupied by consumption of alcohol.
There you go.
Right?
and,
We
and
all
just
bet.
talking with people and doing all that. But you know, it's just hard to watch. I mean, to me, it's the greatest game in the world. Obviously, I'm biased because I played it, but you know, and that's what I grew up. I played all the sports, but you know, when they start changing all these rules and you know, making the game a lot easier, you know, they're trying to speed it up. If they're going to speed it up, you know, people can leave whenever they want. If you don't want to stay 9, leave after 7 innings. You know, the umpires are always bitching and complaining about this and that, and you know, and then Manfred, this guy's a tool. You know, I mean, he's probably the biggest tool of all commissioners. You know, so to me, for him to change these games, I think he hates baseball.
Yeah.
Is what he does, because he's trying to implement all these BS rules.
Well, you guys have something in common then.
Well,
Well, he chased me out of it. He won.
Yeah.
He won.
so it's going to be funny about Manfred because, hands down, very unpopular. No one likes him, but his legacy may ultimately be, he kind of did fix baseball.
What
to
did
a
he
degree.
fix?
These rule changes, the one thing that I
Yeah,
will
but
say
Wells
that
doesn't
stands
view
out,
them as fixed. You
Well,
understand
the thing
that.
that I would say that stands out now is with the elimination of the shift, there seems to be more of an encouragement of at least hitters that are willing to spray it to all parts of the field. It's not as much home run or strikeout based as it's been. It was home run, strikeout, walk, which is boring. Nobody wants to watch that. Right. There's no action. But now there's more base runners, there's more stolen bases, there's more guys getting on base via the single, which you wouldn't think is all that exciting, but you need to have action on the bases, right?
Well, a game's a game.
Yeah.
You know what?
I
guess if you want to, just put it on a damn tee. Just let them do that. Make the bases 3 times bigger than what they are, so they can get closer.
Fair.
Now they're putting on that glove, so that glove can be out to here, so you're getting another 4 or 5 inches to get in there. It's stupid. Babe Ruth's rolling over in his grave right now. I guarantee you he is. But to do that, you got after the third. If you don't get to pick him off the third time, he gets second base, awarded second base. Stupid. It's a joke. Now, does he? I don't even know. Does he get to a rewarded stolen base?
I don't believe it's a stolen base in the statistics.
Then you know what?
I believe it's indifference.
It's just, to me, it's stupid. And then putting a guy on second base and in extra innings. Who wants to watch?
We'll get back to
pardon my French.
No, you're good. We love you. This is why we love you. Okay?
That's what you get David Wells on.
Yes.
You want that?
This is what you want.
Yes.
You want that.
We will get back to baseball in a second because we have 2 games. You okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? What's going on
switching.
with you?
Sink it into the couch.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm interested in your. I know you. Well, so am I.
It's Tahoe.
But I'm interested in your golf game, real quick. How'd you play today? Who'd you play with? Tell us. Take us through the round. Take us through your day today, if you don't mind.
No, we played well. I hit the ball pretty good.
Yeah.
Normally just my first round out here this year, so. Tomorrow we get another round in the afternoon, so I'll just try different shots with different clubs, until we start Friday, because the last couple of years hasn't been the greatest for me out here, but for me to go out there and just try to compete, I just want to get 10, 15 points a day, and anything over that's a bonus.
Right.
Yeah, and then I'm right in the middle of the pack.
A few drinks, hang out with friends. It's
Word
all about,
to that.
Right? Word to that.
I can't believe what's happened to me where now I'm the guy trying to sell baseball to others.
Right,
and
you're
I can't-
selling
It's
baseball to
amazing.
David Wells.
David Wells. Right.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, Wells went out there and threw 9 innings and would go 11 if he had to. He didn't care. Like, he doesn't want.
That was our job.
It's that
yeah,
part,
that was
right?
our job to
Yes.
go out there and do it. And now these kids are fired up. They get 5 innings. That's a quality start. Woohoo! It's like, who are they going to put in the Hall of Fame? You know, you got Scherzer and Verlander who are lock-ons. I think maybe. I don't know, Kershaw. Maybe, but
Yeah.
Even that
But here's the
longevity.
thing: he doesn't have 200 wins,
My man.
but he's got.
My guy.
But Sandy Koufax
Not
didn't
great in the
either.
postseason.
And look what Sandy Koufax
Peak
did.
of your dominance.
Yeah, Pedro played 12 years, but he was so dominant
Right.
and deserving. So to me, it's just like, who are they going to do? Because you don't have the complete games. You don't have the innings. I think last year one guy had 200 innings.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Sandy
Gar-
Alcantara.
Yeah.
Who won the Cy Young.
Right.
So that's sad when you're doing that, and they're paying. I'm pissed because they're paying these guys 10, 20, 30 million a year. Now,
Just to go 2 times through the order.
and if
I know,
David
but Wells,
Cone,
if someone dare come try to take
Well,
you out
David
after 5
Cone-
innings, you would have yelled at him. Like,
oh, look at the guys. What do you think Bob Gibson would be making these?
Right.
They should probably be at 70 million a year.
Right.
So it's, God bless. I mean, the money, it's there, but I don't think they understand how they got to where they're at because of the guys before my time and so on, bringing it up there and fighting for our rights. And we had to go through all these strikes and all that. But these guys don't know the game of baseball. They know how to play the game,
Right.
but they don't know the history of the game. And to me, that's just a shame when you don't have a guy, every guy in that field should know the history of the game and what it means. And I don't think they don't have to worry about it. They play 1 year and they're set for life.
Well, ironically,
God bless him, though.
speaking
Yeah.
with Luis Arias, who's
Definitely.
chasing 400, talking to him about Ted Williams, like he didn't know who Ted Williams was coming into the league.
Yeah.
Now, this is a guy from Venezuela who didn't, watch that much Major League Baseball growing up. But do you think the game has been changed this way because of like showcase baseball? All these kids at a young age not really being taught, hey, you need to compete deep into the games, but hey, you need to hit blank on the radar gun, or you need to have blank
Well, that's what
as
they're
exit
forcing
velocity.
them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when I was coaching at Point Loma High, when I retired, and then all of a sudden, after a few years of doing it, these kids were doing these showcases, like Perfect Game,
Right.
and doing all that. And I just said, no, you're not going. I said, if you go, you're getting suspended for 2 games. They're like, that's not fair, Coach. I said, yeah, it is. I said, because what happens if you're pitching, you're pitching, then you go there and you're warming up, and they want you to light up the radar gun and do that. And they're like, well, I'll be able to pitch. No, you're not going to do it. So I said, take the chance. If I find out you go, I'm suspending you 2 games. And then sure enough, I had 2 guys that went in Tommy John High School.
Wow.
Right,
Because
they're trying to
of
throw as hard as
that
they can.
stuff. And
Really?
yeah, and I think the body needs rest, so you don't need to play all year round. And these entities are putting these parents in a really gnarly spot because of the fact that they're if you don't let your kid play all year round, he's gonna fall back. He's gonna fall
100%.
behind. Like our school system right now after COVID. You know,
Right.
that what's her name? Randy Weingarten. She blocked all the kids, and now the kids are way behind, like 4 years behind.
Yeah.
So it's
Minor league baseball players, they lost development too because of COVID.
oh my God,
Yeah.
and college players did too.
Right, everybody's
So
a year
it's just
behind.
it's a shame. So they're forcing these kids to play all year round, and they're just going to burn them out. And I think that a lot of kids are just going to find some of it.
Yeah.
I say enjoy your summer, chase chicks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go
be a
go get a
kid.
job,
Yeah.
Be David
go
Wells.
surfing, do it all
Yeah.
if you can, but then
Go be
get
David
back
Wells.
in there and play every
Be
sport.
David Wells for the summer.
I love the idea of David Wells as a manager. Like, to me, that's exciting. Like,
It'd be interesting.
why'd you stop? Like,
What? I just
He doesn't
no.
like the game.
Trust me, no.
I know,
I
but he likes
tried-
helping kids out.
I
Like,
tried to
watch
get
the
in.
game.
I
Right.
tried to get into the game. I couldn't get a job. I got shunned every time.
Really?
Oh yeah, I went everywhere. I called every GM that I knew, tried to get an interview. I said I'll go to the minor leagues and work my way up just to show that I want to teach and coach. And I got nothing. So I said, have a nice day.
Wait, after all you did for a couple of different organizations,
Yeah.
they had the audacity to say no to David Wells?
They did. They thought I was still that guy. I went out every night drinking.
Were you?
Yeah. Not when I was coaching, though, because I didn't coach. But when I played, I did. It was great.
We've got a couple minutes with you, and we want you to weigh in on a couple things that we've been talking about all week. Game for your life.
Yep.
A pitcher game for your life. We were you were so good during the regular season that we kind of held it against you that you weren't so much better in the postseason, and we elevated guys like Beckett and Madison Bumgarner because they were just so much better. So if you had a pitcher game for your life, who you
Wait
going
a second.
You were too good in
Last
the
time I
regular
looked
season.
on my records, I won 10 games in
Yes, you
playoffs.
did.
with? Yeah.
No, you were-
How many did Beckett have?
No, but here's the deal, Wells.
I mean,
if we
Beckett-
give you,
Beckett's going to
playing.
pull 03 out.
No,
if
time
we're
out.
going head to head.
But David, if we have you as an option, we know you're going to choose yourself. So
Yeah.
the point of this game is to not present yourself as an option. So
Oh, I'm never going to pick myself.
you wouldn't.
There's
Why?
one. There,
You were such a great big game pitcher.
because I said I'm not going to self-promote like you just said. So. but I know who I would have on that mound every time.
Okay, is that guy here? Is he playing in this tournament?
No.
Okay.
Were you teammates with him?
Yes.
Was it Andy Pettit?
Yes.
Andy Pettit. That's the guy we
ding,
said
ding,
yesterday.
Ding, 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 ding. Andy Pettit was probably the biggest game pitcher, in my time. The guy just dealt.
He was spectacular.
He was awesome.
I don't know, but Beckett in 03 he has a
Well,
couple of
got
major.
the head
Well,
to head.
put it this way. If I wasn't hurt and had back surgery in 03
That's true.
and I was healthy, it might have been a different story.
like that.
No,
Sure.
we
Brad Penny beat me twice that year.
Penny beat him twice that year.
Penny beat you twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had
He
an
was great.
injection 8 hours before the first game.
Otherwise, Penny would
Because I
never
couldn't,
beat you.
I
Yes.
couldn't touch my kneecaps. I blew my back out.
Oh no.
And
Yeah.
another thing that we want you
Wait,
to
how
weigh
many
in on.
names before I get to Smoltz? Like, how many names? Smoltz is right up there, right?
For big
for
game?
one
game
game?
for your life.
No.
Big game.
No.
No.
Wow. How about
Take-
Cone?
How about
Coney, yes.
Okay.
Now, you gotta go-
Coney's in there.
how about the Rocket?
No.
No.
No,
Not
I
in
would
there?
take Pettit over Rocket.
Yeah,
Pettit
his
over Rocket
postseason
for sure in the
numbers aren't
postseason.
Right.
what they should be.
Jack
Right.
Morris.
All right, another thing that
Not
we
a
want
bad
you to
one.
weigh in on. We have a list of people that we think just look like baseball. And the king of the mountain we decided was Craig Biggio. You almost have to have a dirty helmet. Like, we can't see the logo on your batting helmet. You got to have eye black.
Some of the other names, just so you know that we got them on there. We got Jim Edmonds, Lenny Dykstra, Pete Rose, Jason Varitek, Ken Caminiti, Dustin Pedroia, Derek Jeter, Thurman Munson's on here.
I believe David Wells is on there.
We have David Wells. We have David Eckstein. We have Mike Lieberthal.
just
Just a whole
physically
bunch of names of
represents
guys who look
baseball.
like baseball.
Lieberthal.
So we need your answer.
That guy was
Lieberthal
awesome.
gotcha. We're going for
You
good
went
names
drinking with
there.
Lieberthal, yeah.
A few times.
Who's baseball?
So who is baseball? The definitive answer. Who is baseball?
Everybody you just mentioned right there is pretty damn good.
Let's just say
Seems
David
like
Wells.
somewhere
Let's say
Biggio was
David
thinking of
Wells.
big
No, if
league.
I'm going to
Wells,
take,
yeah.
I mean, for me, because he was so clean, Ken Griffey Jr. He was
That's
baseball.
a great
kid.
one.
Great
He was
choice.
For a whole
baseball.
generation.
Amazing.
Great
he is
choice.
So
baseball.
baseball and Roberto Alomar.
Oh,
It's a good one.
Baseball.
Well,
Good
okay.
one.
I mean, you
Good
got.
one.
I mean, he spat on
Two of the greatest players I ever played with
Yeah.
in the history of the game.
So
Yeah.
if you want to
Griffey and
follow
Alomar.
David and his golf game. Make sure to tune into Peacock and NBC Sports throughout the weekend and watch the American Century Championship. 2 years running, one of our favorite guests. I can't say that too loud because Jay Bilas is coming up next.
Oh, Jay's a good man. But he's politically correct.
But you might
Aren't you, Jay?
You might win back-to-back Best Guest of the Year. We'll see what Bilas does, but you might win it back-to-back here.
He is meant for this mic. He is meant. He is. You can't say anything bad about the guy.
You're meant for that.
And I've been looking for stuff, and I just can't find it.
You are meant for that lake, so go cannonball into that lake because I know that's what you want to go do.
Oh,
right
I
now.
can't wait. It's going to be a thing of beauty.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm
man.
going to be Free Willy out there.
Thank you, David.
All right. Have fun this weekend.
One of our great regular guests out here at Tahoe now, too. Jay Bilas joins us. Jay, thank you for all the tips that you gave me. Very helpful last year. I haven't played since, but I know there's one thing I got to do is keep my head down.
Right.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Any advice Stugotz gives you, I think you should ignore.
I got to be
That's in
honest. We had
general.
Wells on, and I saw you. You were looking at my clubs in a very judgmental way.
What a
I thought
ratty bag.
Top Golf had rejected those.
He was couching it by saying that's his travel
Have
bag.
you been
Can we
doing
bring that
gardening
over
with
here?
those things? It
Yeah,
looks like
can
you've
we
been
get
that
that?
bag?
Can someone get
Can
that
we bring
bag?
this ratty-ass bag that Stugotz has been lugging around here? The people in the pro shop are dragging Stugotz's ass for this awful-looking
No,
bag.
but I love Jay
It's not
Bilas who
great.
just walks over, like he knows I'm staring at him, and he's looking at my clubs, and he's judging me, and because he's always judging.
I'm not judging you. It's just that the beauty of your club, Stugotz, is you can leave those anywhere without worry about somebody
Nobody's
stealing
gonna take them.
No one will ever steal those.
Well, and they're lefties too.
What
so
color is that
helps.
supposed to be? I guess is my first question. Is that a pewter? Is it gray?
Oh
It
no,
was
that's
red at
supposed to
one
be.
point.
No. It's supposed to be black.
It's not supposed to have all those dents and grass stains. I know that.
Those are looking rough.
You could clean those a little
It's
bit.
really
It wouldn't kill
representative
you.
of my entire life. That golf bag.
Yeah, they look
to be
like your
quite
hat.
honest with you.
So Jay, you know your reputation. You're the ombudsman of all things college, and I want
How
to
do you feel about that,
couple
by the way?
things.
The
off you.
ombudsman.
I'm not
of
sure
all
what
things
ombudsman
college.
means, but
Yeah, you are the authority. You are the moral compass.
You
when
should
it
get a
comes-
business card.
no,
that
but
says
nobody ever made
ombudsman.
money off being a moral compass.
Well, let's talk about moral compasses because let's start with the topic du jour in college athletics, and that's the firing of Pat Fitzgerald over at Northwestern. A lot of great reporting from the student newspaper kind of shined a whole new light on this. There was a 2-week suspension, and then after some reporting on what happened over there, it ends with Pat Fitzgerald getting dismissed. What was your whole take on this entire situation?
I think the Northwestern situation raises one of the big questions that college athletics has been dealing with as far as head coach responsibility is concerned, and that is what should the head coach be charged with knowing? And to me, the standard is did he know, or should he reasonably have known? And reasonably is the key word, because I think it's unreasonable to expect everyone to know everything. That there are things that are kept from a head coach that can happen, but something sort of that nature, when after the initial suspension, when more news came out, I think the administration said, you know what, we got to get this off the table. This has gone beyond reasonably should have known. He should if he didn't know, he should have known this. And I think that's fair, but it's a standard that the school applied. It wasn't a standard that the NCAA applied, and that's the crazy standard where there's a standard for everyone applied by a governing body. I think it works much better where the individual school makes the decision. Just like when with West Virginia and Bob Huggins, he had that ridiculous happening on the radio in Cincinnati, which was, in my judgment, a fireable offense in and of itself.
Couldn't agree more.
And then not long after that gets the DUI, and they kept him after the radio thing. That's within their judgment to do. You may have done it differently. I may have done it differently. I don't think any reasonable person thought after the DUI, okay, let's look the other way and keep this in place. And it's profoundly sad that Bob has gone out this way, and then now trying to say, well, I didn't really resign. It's hard to fathom this whole thing. I don't really understand it. I'm just saddened by it.
I think with the one of the interesting things with the Northwestern story is you could say maybe the school didn't do the best job, and Pat certainly did not do a great job, and good people, because I know Pat, and my daughter goes to Northwestern, and so he's been on my show a few times, and you're hearing a lot of people saying, hey, good guy. Well, good guy makes mistakes, okay? Like, good guys can make a mistake every now and then, and Pat Fitzgerald, I think, has made a pretty colossal mistake for himself and his career. But the guys, the people who did their jobs professionally, was the student newspaper, and they were the only ones in this equation who have done their jobs correctly, which is flabbergasting to me.
Well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, one, you give them great credit for doing it, but they're also friends of and the same age as the players.
Right.
So for them
Right.
to be able to get that information, that makes sense for them to be able to ferret that out, and you give them great credit for it. But they're in a better position, I think, to get some of that information. Like the whole thing, one of the things that I couldn't figure out in that was, like, the young people that were on this football team, what, you guys haven't read the paper? Like, hazing is over. And hazing, like, my view of hazing was like what you do with freshmen. Okay, you have to carry, back in the day, Michael Jordan had to carry the film projector on road trips. That's hazing. Or the freshmen have to carry the laundry down after practice. The nets that have your uniforms in them, your practice uniforms, to get them laundered. That's what hazing is, not this other stuff. That stuff's all beyond the pale. So if any of the assistant coaches knew, like you just really.
It's odd that Pat's out and the assistants are safe, right? Isn't that a little bit?
That's always
at least
odd.
right now.
Yeah,
right?
It's always odd. Like when a team's losing and they fire the head coach and they elevate one of the assistants. They go, wasn't that guy there too?
Right.
Wasn't he making suggestions?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Another thing that I want to ask you about is in the middle of golf hearings with this Live Golf PGA merger, Rand Paul took the opportunity to gratuitously take a shot at NIL and college athletes. And I don't want to put words in your mouth. To me, it kind of felt like casual racism. Not kind of felt. To me, it was casual racism, where he said something to the effect of, we got basketball players driving Bentleys now, and we don't have college basketball players. We have rappers. And that is so racially coded in what he was saying. And he just shoehorned in that take there. There are a lot of people that feel this way, that college athletics is sacred and you should not be able to be making money. How did the Rand Paul comments during the Senate hearings land with you?
Well, I heard it the same way you did because I watched the Senate hearings on the PGA Tour and Live Golf, and I flagged the same issue you did, that to be kind, it was racial undertones, it was overtones, and it was a pretty clear dog whistle. So I didn't care for it. I'm surprised he hasn't been called out on it more to date, just like Tommy Tuberville was with the ridiculous things he said recently.
The white nationalist thing.
Exactly.
That was insane.
But one of the things that stood out to me was when he talked about, the players now are going to be driving Bentleys or whatever luxury car he mentioned after Bentley. And you're like, who cares what the players drive?
Right.
Like, why do you care what the players drive?
And they deserve it.
And all the people who are talking about they don't like money in college sports, they didn't complain over the last 45, 50 years when revenues have gone through the roof and coaches' salaries have gone through the roof, and universities are building gigantic facilities, opulent facilities, in order to attract talent. And it strikes me as crazy that so many free market libertarians, they're saying, oh, but this one segment, no free market for you. Everybody else, we want the free market, but we don't want it for you.
It's about power.
Yeah, it's almost immoral. It's so ridiculous that it gets to being immoral, that we want to restrict college athletes only and say, well, they get a scholarship. Well, look at all the non-athletes that get scholarships, and they're employees of the university, they make money, they sell what they want. Musicians can play their gigs and make a record, write a book, and they can make whatever money they want.
And Stugotz, we'll hand it to you in a second, but the majority of those athletes, those college athletes in the revenue-generating sports, minorities. Like,
yes.
It all feels like a power dynamic, and any take that's about keeping money away, like making name off of your name, image, and likeness, it kind of feels like know your place. Don't we want to keep the power dynamic.
It should be
is.
celebrated. Like Liv Dunn at LSU, the gymnast. She had out recently that she made $500,000 for one social media post.
Awesome.
And exactly.
Right.
It's fantastic. And it goes against the ridiculous narrative the NCAA put out all these years that this is going to hurt women's sports, it's going to hurt women. The dogs and cats are going to live together. The world is going to spin off its axis, and people are going to stop watching if athletes make money. All of it was nonsensical and untrue, and that's been proven now. And I was at a thing recently in April in Detroit. Greg Campy of Oakland University set it up, and Tom Izzo, and then Blake Corum from Michigan was there. And he was asked about his NIL, and he talked about he's always had an interest in real estate. And so he took his NIL money and he's bought real estate properties, and he has a portfolio of real estate properties. And one of the reasons he came back to Michigan, one was to win a national championship and to win the Heisman Trophy and all that. But he also wants to expand on his real estate portfolio and give himself an even better head start into his future. And you're like going, people complain about
How
this?
great is that?
It's
Like
great.
people, I didn't hear any senator bring that up in the hearings.
Right.
That stuff should be celebrated, not denigrated.
I'm wondering what kind of car an 18-year-old, 19-year-old Jay Bilas was driving around with that Duke.
I had I had a Thunderbird, a Ford Thunderbird,
Oh man.
and it was magnificent. Velour seats. I mean, it was just spectacular.
Big man on campus.
Yeah, it was
Bilas?
back when I could open the window up and hair would actually flow. Now my ear hair and nose hair is the only thing that moves.
How's the golf game, Jay? How you gonna do this weekend?
Hopefully better than last year. I mean, I finished like top 30 last year, something like that, around 30.
Right.
And didn't have
Not
a good
bad, Jay.
didn't have a good last day. I just want to keep it in the fairway a little bit more often. But
Notice
yeah,
you were
I'm-
picking your head up a little bit.
yeah, you thought I was picking my head
Yeah.
up.
Right.
Yeah, I just got to get my caddy's coming in today. A guy that I went to college with, so I've known him for 40 years, and I can't wait to give him a hard time about he walks with the other players more than he walks with me. He's bugging Joe Buck and talking to these other guys that I'm playing with, and I'm like, hey, you're my caddy.
Right.
Like, stay away from those guys.
It sounds like me. I'll be doing
Yeah.
that for Golick
Yeah.
on Friday. Yeah.
Go
But spending no time with
Golick's in trouble.
This pairing of you and Golick may be the first player caddy murder in golf history. He may snap a 7-iron and go after you with the shaft and the jugular.
But I'll be hanging out with Mahomes somewhere, so he won't be able to find me.
He'll have to
be a
get through
moment.
Mahomes and his caddy to get to you.
There is going to be a moment.
Great shot, Patrick.
There's going to be a moment, absolutely, that they'll catch on Peacock of Mike Golick looking for a club to be handed to him, and two guys are just nowhere to be seen. There is no bag. There is no caddy. He's on another hole, chasing down Aaron Rodgers.
doing
Jay Cohen.
selfies on an adjacent fairway.
You need a set of clubs, Jay? Or yeah.
Nobody needs those. Yeah, you don't need those either.
Well,
I'm putting some money on you this weekend, man. I feel like you're gonna have a good weekend.
tells that to
Taking a
everybody.
flyer
Yep,
on
every
you,
single
Jay Bilas.
guest.
I didn't say it to Wells because I don't
That's
believe
true.
in
You
Wells.
know better.
We've
But
got a
Bill is
whole.
top 30. Didn't play well on Sunday. I mean, you could spring an upset here.
We've
If
got
I
a-
were you, Stugotz, I would take those clubs over to the Mizuno tent
Yeah.
and just carrying them around. They'll feel sorry for you and give you a set of clubs.
Okay, done.
We actually got a whole insider trading thing here. Anybody that we invite over to our inflatable couch, we notify them because their back is totally wrecked.
Yeah, exactly. This is really
Afterwards.
comfortable.
Sorry, Jay.
All
And
right,
in the ass sweat I have working, making gravy in the back of my long pants here.
You have it too, huh?
This is not set up for comfort.
All
It
right.
must be some. It must be some promotional deal.
No, just
No.
LeBatard's not here.
It's
The budget goes down.
yeah, it's brought to you by Swamp Ass.
Yeah, he
They're a
doesn't
proud
have his
sponsor.
in his contract are the down pillows. And
Thank you,
Jay.
Jay.
We appreciate it, man.
Always a pleasure.
You're always been great to me and to our show, and we appreciate your support, man.
looking forward to you giving yardages to Golick. It'll probably be meters for the first
I
14
already-
holes.
I already told him if you need a yardage, ask another caddy.
Ask another-